Hello! Welcome back to Tech Ambrosia. I feel like every time I go live I should have like an intro video or something that plays before I switch to my A-cam. I don't know, it feels like it'd be more professional or something. Anyway, hello! How is everybody doing? Let's see how the chat is doing. Ryzen 9 3900 XT, welcome. Hello! Osi! Hello! I've almost missed you. You're all the way up at the top of the chat. I hope you are doing well. Trina's Technobabble, welcome to the stream. I'm going to try not to go quite so far into your stream slot today. We ran really over last time. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this goes a little bit faster. Don't end up having to install a bunch of drivers and stuff. HC, welcome. Hello. Hello, fellow retro hardware nerds. You know what I need to do is I need to do more retro hardware. At this point, I don't know if I can call myself a retro hardware channel, because I've been looking at modern stuff too much. Garth Beagle, welcome to the stream. Zalbrin, hello, how are you doing? Ozzy says, just use a soundboard clip of Omori healing noise. I should get a soundboard. I should have some more fun stuff. Put like chat over here on the side and like have some, you know, like highlight stream at the bottom and stuff like that. It'd be nice, I think. Feel a little bit more, you know, get the stream feeling a little more lived in, instead of just full of clutter behind me. Oh, Trina says she's not streaming today, so all is good. Well, I still don't want to run super over. I mean, it was a lot of fun last time, but hopefully, we've got... I do have a fair number of GPUs to test in this today, but hopefully the testing goes a little more quickly than last time. HC says it's all retro if it's over a year old. God, I hope not. Well, good. I'm glad you're doing good. Hopefully you can get some rest. All right. So, as the stream title says, I don't know if it shows here, but maybe it's probably over in that corner over there. Today we're taking a look at Starfield because I overpaid for it, and that means I get to play it a week ahead of time. And we're gonna run it on some GPUs it really should not be able to run on. So officially, the minimum specs for Starfield are a Ryzen 5 2600X and a Radeon 5700 non-XT, I believe, or I think a 1070 Ti. So, I think I've got, because I just gave away my 1080 Ti, my one NVIDIA card that I have left now, that's not my 3080, like literally in the machine that's streaming this right now, is the 1660 Super from the $100 GPU roundup. And it actually does pretty well with Starfield. It's right around minimum spec. It's about this, somewhere falls between the 1070 Ti. And surprisingly, I'm sure if anybody's been looking, there's been a few videos coming out on the game and how it runs. It does not seem to allocate a ton of VRAM, so like the 6 gigs in this doesn't seem to be a big problem with the game. So, like, I don't know. I'm not totally sure why they picked those particular GPUs as the minimums, but one thing I do know is I have a 3080 in this machine that's streaming this right now, but I have an old version of Windows 10. I've got Windows 10 20H2, I think, and so when I try and run Starfield, because of course the minimum spec for Starfield is like 21H1 or something, 21H2, it gives me the "your video card is under specifications" warning when I try and run it on this machine, which is hilarious since it's a 3080 and it should run it just fine. So I haven't actually been able to play this game like at high settings. The best I've got to run it with is 6650 XT, which does do a fairly good job running the game, honestly. But we're going to look at stuff that's not a 3080 and is not a 6650 XT, and is in fact quite a bit slower. So let's take a look at what we got on the test bench. So, on the test bench today, as you can see here, is, of course, my PCI Express test bench motherboards, and it's an Asus A320MK. Hidden under the graphics card is an M.2 NVMe that I've got a bunch of games installed on because I'm right in the middle of my cheap Ryzen testing. So for the CPU, we are under minimum spec. We've got a Ryzen 5 1600 non-X. So this thing supposedly tops out at 3.7 gigahertz. However, this is on an A320 board, so there's no PBO option. So the most I have seen this thing go is 3.4. So we've got 6 cores, 12 threads, Zen 1 architecture, 3.4 gigahertz. It's a ways under minimum spec. It does actually slow it down in large cities. Out in the field, with the 6650 XT installed out in the field, it's fine. It'll run 60 FPS, no problem. In the cities, not so much. Little bit too much. There's too many draw calls piling up, I think, for the main thread on this CPU. I think that's the primary reason they went with a 2600X as the minimum spec CPU. That's my hope anyway. Because once we get through a few video cards on this machine, I want to try something a little older. This is my FX system. This is running an FX 6350, or sorry, FX 6300 here. I've got 16 gigs of DDR3, and yeah, we'll see just what this can do, if this can even run the game at all. We'll see. We had quite a bit of luck last time running Baldur's Gate pretty far under minimum spec on that FM2 platform, so... But Baldur's Gate specifically said it supported FX processors, so I don't know. We'll see. The fact that this doesn't give me any errors when I run it on a GPU that's clearly under its minimum specifications gives me hope that it may run on FX, so we can have some hilarity. Hopefully. So, let's see how chat is doing now that I have introduced the challenge. Alrighty. How is everyone doing? Everyone looks like they're doing good. Thank you. Trina said yes, 21H2. Thank you. Yes. And this machine that I'm streaming on is 20H2. And it does indeed give me the your graphics card does not meet the minimum specifications warning. Ryzen 9 3900 XT says PBO is a must. Yes, exactly. We're going to run this on FX. It's going to be good. Or bad. Or maybe it won't run at all. I don't know. Okay, yeah, so Trina, I have done, you would not believe the amount of things that I've tried to do to get this machine to upgrade to 22H2. I have run Windows updates. They get to a certain point and then fail, which is fun. You always know it's fun when Windows Update fails. So then they suggest, maybe you should Google search this error code. So if you Google search the error code, you get, you try running this utility to upgrade Windows. And it's like, okay, so just run the utility and then select keep all files, right? So it's the media creation tool, right? Because it can do an upgrade in place. So you run it, and it's like, okay, don't worry about it. Just select the option that says keep all files. You can keep all your stuff in place. So I run it on this machine, this thing over here, and it says your only option is to wipe the drive and reinstall fresh. So I picked up a backup drive yesterday, or not yesterday, but last weekend, and I've been backing up all my files onto the backup drive, so I'm going to be wiping this machine pretty much right after stream. I've actually got all my VR stuff moved over to the test bench at this point, so I do my weekly VR thing on Saturdays right after stream. I'll be VRing on this machine, and yeah, this machine is going to get the wipe O and get rebuilt into who knows what. I'm probably, honestly, gonna rebuild it into one of my test benches, one of these 3D printed test benches, because I hate this case that it's in. It's in a Fractal Design Meshify C. It's a garbage case. I really don't like it. It rattles with the fan resonant noises, and it's still not big enough for the 3080 somehow. Like, it's an enormous case, and it's still somehow not big enough. Like, there's just too much space in between, like, the front of the case and where the front fans go for to put, like, fans, 3 fans on the intake and still have a 3080 in there. It's just, I don't like it. I don't like it. It does technically fit, but I can't run all of my intake fans. Yeah, right? Yeah. Full reinstall. Hooray! Hooray! So yeah, I've been backing up all my stuff, so like I've backed up all my OBS, streaming settings here. I backed up all my DaVinci Resolve stuff, so I got my database backed up. I've got all my source files for the channel, channel bumpers, titles, cards and stuff like that, background music. Everything's backed up. Let's see, what was the backup take now? At this point, the backup is taking about 4 gigs at this point. So, not 4 gigs, 4 terabytes. About 4 terabytes at this point. So, yeah, I'm kind of surprised it's not that much, because mostly I'm not backing up my games or anything, because I'm just going to reinstall them when I rebuild the machine. But, like, hooray! It has been a while since I rebuilt this machine. I've been pulling this Windows install forwards for a long time. Like, this install got transferred over from an old SSD. I did a file system copy. And that old SSD, I had built that machine on Windows 8, Windows 8.0, upgraded to 8.1, and then pulled it over to this new SSD, put it in this new hardware, and, like, it's been through, like, I think 3 system architectures at this point. I started out on that FM2 board, and then I built one of those cheap X79 Xeon systems. That was my main computer for a while. I just pulled the SSD out, put it in the new machine. I moved it over to the new SSDs. I'm running out of space, and then I built the AM4 system. And, like, at this point, honestly, it needs to die. It's too old. I think it's probably stuck in compatibility boot mode in CSM, and I'm guessing that 22H2 won't play ball with that. It needs to be an EFI install, so that's probably why it's asking me to reinstall everything. So, hey, if I have to change everything, I may as well actually change everything. I'm not much for tradition, so I'll just wipe the whole thing and install everything onto an NVMe and just forgo SATA entirely. Now, the thing is, I'm moving all my creative processes over to an M1 Mac Mini that is actually, I think I got the alert from my package delivery place here in the apartment that has arrived today. So I'm going to be moving all my main stuff, all my creative stuff, back over to Mac OS. It's been a long time. The last time I used a Mac as my main machine, like not as like a laptop or something, was, I think, God, like 09? 2010 maybe? I had a Hackintosh built out of an original Core 2 Duo, like a Conroe Core 2 Duo, and I installed, I think, 10.5 on it, because I couldn't get 10.6 to work, because at the time, building a Hackintosh was a real pain in the butt. But that's the last time that I used a Mac as my primary machine. I will say, the thing that's warmed me up to the idea is honestly my mid-2012 MacBook Pro that I bought from a friend and have just been using as like a peripheral laptop. It's really nice. It's really nice. It's actually much quicker than you'd expect it to be. Like, it's an Ivy Bridge i5 and it's pretty snappy. And I can't imagine how much faster M1 is going to be just for like everyday stuff, for like browsing YouTube, writing stuff, of course video editing, because like that's the thing that Apple Silicon's really good at, is video editing. So I'm looking forward to it, honestly. I'll just keep this thing, this Windows PC, hooked up, and if I want to play a game, I can always stream it from Steam to Steam. Like, I've done Steam LAN streaming before. It's not bad. For the games I play, like, I'm not hyper competitive, so streaming over the network should be fine. I'm looking forward to it. It also means that, like, when I get up in the morning for work and I have to go over there to the workstation, I usually turn this PC on just to, like, either like watch some YouTube videos while I eat breakfast, or to just have on in the background for maybe background music or something. But like, that's a lot of power, just like sitting in the corner dumping heat into my room. And no thanks. It's warm enough here in the desert. I don't need it to be warmer. So having, replacing that function of this machine with something that, consumes 30 watts of power at full tilt will be nice. It'll be nice. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, we're going to torture a video game today. And chat, I have seen chat has been moving on while I've been talking about my Mac Mini. What do we got? Trina says, enjoying a day of doing nothing. Hell yes. Hell yes. It is Labor Day weekend here in the US, so we get Monday off. Most folks get Monday off. And that includes me, so I'm definitely looking forward to Monday being a day of nothing. Although my guess is I'm probably going to be editing YouTube videos on Monday. Or rebuilding this machine on Monday. We'll see. We'll see how Sunday goes. We'll see how Sunday goes. Yes, exactly. Trina says, the one thing I tell users at work is backup, backup, backup. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Backup, backup, backup. As an aside, I decided to kind of splurge on a backup disk, and I got one of the new Seagate Exos Enterprise disks. And I stuck it into a USB enclosure and, plugged it into my I have like a tree of USB 3 hubs down under my desk. It's kind of disgusting. But it's really nice. It's really nice. Like, that thing has like a 300 megabyte per second write speed. Holy cow, I didn't realize hard drives had gotten that good. But yeah, apparently if you shell out the money for them, they're actually quite nice. I've been living on like cheap WD external, 2.5-inch USB hard drives for my backup stuff, and then all the stuff inside my computer is solid state. But like, dang, big drives, enterprise drives have gotten quite nice in the last few years. I am surprised. Hey, Blake DMC, welcome to the stream. Glad to have ya. You are on a 1080 Ti and Starfield's very concerning. I'm assuming you probably saw Iceberg Tech's video that released this morning, testing it on a 1080 Ti. He did test it at 1440p, and honestly, like, the thing that I've found running it through a few GPUs here is that it really likes fill rate. Like, it really likes fill rate. Like, it sucks down fill rate like crazy. Because, like, the main thing that changes when you change the presets from, like, ultra to high to medium is it changes that render resolution scale. Like, that's the thing that impacts performance the most, from what I've been seeing. I would, honestly, like, he's like, oh, I'm going to run it at 1440p with a 1080p internal render resolution, and then, use FSR to upscale it. I would, honestly, just run it at 1080p at 100% res scale. Just take the extra processing of FSR out of the equation, and just, enjoy the pixels you have. I think the 1080 Ti would do pretty well at 1080p in that game, mostly because it just seems like it's really, really, it just really sucks down the frame, or the fill rate of a card. Yeah, anyway, we're gonna find out in a minute exactly what I mean. Oh, Ryzen 9 says, unbox the Mac on stream, please. I might do that, actually, if I go and grab it after stream, because it's way over there in the apartment complex. I live in the Sun Belt, so my apartment complex is enormous and sprawling and like 2 stories high, and surrounded by a moat of parking lot, because of course it is. So my package delivery box is like over there. It takes about 10 minutes to go get stuff out of it. I don't think y'all want to like look at my messy room for 10 minutes while I go get a box. But yeah, I might unbox it. So I might unbox it tomorrow morning on Dave's stream. Because assuming I don't have another freaking migraine day like I did last week, I should be on Dave's stream. And yeah, I will unbox it then. But I mean, it's a Mac Mini. It's gonna look like a Mac Mini. Whoop. I'm trying not to break all my stuff. I have too many cables. Like, it's not gonna look incredibly amazing. It's just It just won't have this many ports on the back, you know. It's got 2 USB-Cs and an HDMI on the back. I have 3 Mac Minis up on that shelf. One of them I know works and is the discrete graphics model. So it has the onboard Radeon 6000 whatever. One of them also works, and it's the Intel integrated graphics only, and the other one is broken, and I broke it. I broke it trying to add a hard drive to it, and I put some heat sinks on the VRAM for the discrete graphics, and I believe that destroyed it because it's it's a 6000 series Radeon, so it's got that manufacturing defect where the solder balls aren't correct. It was the same thing that killed a bunch of Xbox 360s back in the day. I'm pretty sure that's what happened with that one. I might be able to repair it if I can, like, I don't know. I don't have a hot air station or anything, but I'm imagine that's all it actually needs, some hot air on the VRAM chips to, like, get them back in. Anyway. My goal with those was to just, like, put another hard drive in and use it as a media center PC. And I never ended up doing that because I killed the first one I got. And then I found a replacement and realized that it was, once I got it, I realized when I got it, it was just the built-in graphics, the Intel integrated graphics only. Which I want the dedicated chip so that I can do like emulation and stuff on it. It's Sandy Bridge i5, so it's not going to emulate a ton of stuff, but like I'd like to at least do like early PlayStation and N64 stuff on it. I'd like a little bit of graphics acceleration beyond the Intel integrated graphics. Anyway, that's a tangent. But yeah, I can unbox that on the stream tomorrow morning. I'm not going to have a ton of time to play around with it today anyway, because we're doing this stream and then I'm going into VR for the night and then, yeah, sleeping time. That's my day. That is my day. It's currently 4:22. Let's see, I did not get too far through chat. Let's see what else we've got. Blake DMC says, I still video edit on Vegas Pro 11. Nice. Nice. Yeah, not even Cyberpunk runs that badly in 1080p or Starfield in 1080 Ti. Yeah, it's uniquely difficult to run on GPUs, and I don't understand why. Like Iceberg said, like, it's not graphically more impressive than like The Last of Us Part 1, but it's definitely more graphically intensive on a GPU than The Last of Us Part 1, and I don't honestly I don't understand why. And everybody who's calling for like DLSS in the game, like, okay, fair. Fair. It doesn't run that great. Nothing can beat net burst. I will challenge that assertion. I would love, yeah, Blake TMC says, I would love an 8 terabyte SATA SSD, but gosh, the prices, yeah, oh yeah. And like, if you get one that's affordable, it's going to be QLC with no DRAM cache or anything. So like, you write like 40 gigabytes to it and then it falls off a cliff. That's the downside to the cheap large SSDs. Being an owner of several 2 terabyte SSDs that are that way, they can be a pain in the butt. Joe's Computer Museum says, migraines suck. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. That whole day. That migraine wiped me out for the whole day, Sunday. And then it was still there a little bit on Monday. Like, it didn't fuck off until, like, noon 30 Monday. I'm like, why? Why are you still here? And Garth says, I want my MTV. I mean, my M1 Mac Mini. That's too many M's. That's too many M's. Yeah, Blake says, I don't know why a lot of benchmarkers don't like to turn off shadows for benchmarking. Yeah, no, I know. Well, like, the thing is, like, the lighting quality is what, like, makes a game, honestly, to me, lighting quality is what makes a game look good, right? And, like, if your shadows are all turned off, it doesn't look great. It just doesn't look great. At least with like previous games, I would like turn down shadow quality because like I don't need like beautiful multi-point soft shadows on everything. Like I'm fine with having some blocky shadows on things as long as there's like, I'm not back to like blob shadows all over or like no shadows. I don't know. It used to be that shadows were like the number one like graphics card killer. I don't know if that's true anymore. I don't know if it's like if it's the volumetric lighting or like because this engine has like there's some kind of probe based like indirect lighting system in it and stuff. Like they have shoehorned a huge amount of graphics tech into what is essentially Skyrim's engine. Like this is still the creation engine, and they've managed to shoehorn all this tech into this thing, and honestly I'm impressed, but also I understand why it doesn't run so great. This engine was not made from the ground up for these technologies. Joe says, "Who wants to come over and help me clean my shop?" I am apparently invited, thank you, Joe, but I have to take all the old PCs home with me. You see this behind me. I don't have room for any of your old stuff. Come on. Frodo Jedi, hello, welcome to the stream. Good to have ya. Aw, you're napping. I had a nightmare. That's not fun. That is no good. My nightmares are always, oh, sorry, you didn't have a nightmare. You had a migraine. I can't read, apparently. That's my day. I can't fucking read. You had a migraine. I am sorry to hear that, because those suck a lot. A lot. I was gonna say, my nightmares generally involve spiders, because arachnophobia. Garth says, I'd help Joe, but I'm even more lazy than he is. Yeah, Eric moved house, so yeah. He's moved many things, way too many things last month. Alright, so let's, I've got this thing on and running. Let's hop over to the desktop view and start. We're going to start Starfield with just under minimum specifications. And we'll see, I'll show you what good looks like, and then we'll get started on the chaos. How about that? Alrighty, so we've got a fresh install of Windows 10 here, and if we just hop into Starfield, easy peasy chicken squeezy. Let me know if the volume on the game is too high, or if you can even hear it. I'm not sure. Who knows what it's doing? Oh yeah, also, you may notice in the upper left corner, we are over 60 FPS. So, they have fixed that bug. The creation engine can now go over 60 FPS without everything falling apart. Alright, so this is the 5600 XT. 6 gigabyte. This was basically the champ on my $100 GPU video. And if we load into a game here, so I'm going to start in, I think this is the one, yeah, level 2. This is an interior area, and then we're going to hop outside and do some combat, and you can see like how it does during normal exploration. HC says, I expect flames, and no sound. Okay. We'll turn up the capture card. Let's see if y'all can hear anything. Give it a second to load here. We have any game audio? I expect flames. I sure hope not. I don't want to have to replace this thing. It's been way too good to me. Do we have any stream audio at all? Yes, no, maybe? No sound, okay. Well, I just may have messed up my OBS config. We just might not have stream audio. Alright, well, anyway. So this is the interior area, right? So we've got, that is, yeah, that is just a, there we go. So we're interior area. What is this running in? What are my settings? So it has an automatic thingamajig. Oh, that's why. Let's do the medium preset. So here's, see what I mean? Like when you set the settings here, you can see the render resolution scale up there. Like even at ultra, it's only up at 75%. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I think I'm doing medium with full resolution render scale. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm doing. It resets the graphics, so all the indirect lighting goes weird, and then it settles down. But yeah, that's about 50 FPS in, oh, that's right, I came up through a hatch in the floor, I think. I'll go through this interior area so you can see what it looks like. But yeah, this is good. And I mean, honestly, it's good. Like, if you look at that frame time graph, like, that's smoother than any Bethesda game I have played for a long time. Like, it runs pretty darn well. It is a good looking game. It is very smooth. They have done a ton of optimization on this engine, honestly. Like, to get that kind of a frame time graph, that is impressive. But yeah, so we have medium settings, no resolution scale. On a 5600 XT, we're getting about 50 FPS indoors. So we are going to hop outside. I'll show you what that looks like. This will just be our sort of our reference point. Outside we go. Now if I walk too far forwards, we're going to get a cutscene. I don't want to do the cutscene because it's annoying. But now we're outside, so we can see the surface of the planet, right? And so this is still Creation Engine, right? So you can't do these doors in Creation Engine unless this is already an exterior cell. So that's why we had the load screen between, you know, we went to black with the ladder, right? So we went up the ladder, that actually loaded us into the exterior cell. Then this door can open immersively into the exterior of the planet because we're already on the outside. It's Creation Engine. It's all here. All that jank is still in this engine. It's kind of impressive. So let's blast this guy. There is a barrel there I want to hit. There we go. Yeah, ruin a bunch of people's day. Gotcha. Get you too. Yeah, that's right. You're about to have a bad day. Use some healing stuff, then otherwise I have a bad day. But yeah, like we're looking at 40, 41, 43, like mid-40s in combat, outside, exterior. It's not bad. I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed with this engine. They've done a lot of really great work on it. Alright, so just cause we're just looking at what this card can do. This is good, remember, this is good. This is the baseline. I also want to load into, we'll load in here. This is going to be in one of the main cities. So this does put a little stress on the 1600. Once you get into the cities, it loads up a whole lot of stuff in the render queue. So like the main thread kind of gets a little bogged down. So that's the part where this Ryzen 5 1600 non-X like starts to fall apart a little bit. But even then, we're seeing like, you know, we're still in the mid-40s here in the city. There are some areas where it starts to dip. I was just testing this before stream, just walking around the city, and I did see it go as low as like 28 FPS as it started to stream in additional people. But like, this is not bad at all. Look at that. Look at that frame time graph. What the heck? This really a Bethesda game? This really a Bethesda game? So yeah, it's not bad. Honestly, it's not bad. So this is bookmark this one in your mind. 1080p medium, no res scale, around 45 FPS on a 5600 XT. This is what I would consider good. And the reason this is like, the reason I think it's really overblown, like everyone's like, oh, it doesn't hit 60 FPS on the Xbox. Like it's kind of okay, honestly, because you notice the frame time graph is phenomenal. Like the input lag is not bad. It's fine. Like, honestly, I think Xbox Series X owners are going to be perfectly happy with this game, because I imagine it's going to be, they said it's going to run in 4K, so I imagine it's going to look great on that console. So, anyway, let's hop out, and I will shut this thing down, and we'll get the first janky graphics card in here. How low should we go? I have quite a few graphics cards I can go that are slower than a 5600 XT. Quite a few. I've got like RX 590. I've got an RX 480 4GB. Then I have the Radeon Pros. These little guys. I haven't actually tested these. I don't know if these work. I imagine they would. Because I'll tell you this, like before I made this stream up, I'm like, we're gonna do this. I did test this, the Quadro P2000. This is basically a 1050 non-TI. It has 5 gigs of VRAM, but it's like 1024 shaders or something. It's not a lot of Pascal shaders, and there's no power connector, so it runs off of slot power only. Maybe I should show you. Starfield runs on this. Let me show you. That's what I'll do. We'll start with that. I'll show you what this does. We can get a little jank in, but this is jank I know will actually work. So, let's see if I can... Let me pop y'all over to the desktop so you can see it. Hello, test bench. So I'll remove PCIe power. Tuck that in there. Yeah. So this is, my capture card uses HDMI, and of course this is a workstation card. So we're looking at, all DisplayPort all the time. So I need my, here it is, my HDMI to DisplayPort adapter. So we'll throw that in here. Get this, oh, this thing's warm. Very warm. So we can get this out of here. Not burning myself. Whew. There we go. Where did I put the stand for it? That's right there. Everybody can see the stand. It's right there. Ouch. Warm. Okay. So, 5600 XT. Done. Quadro P2000. And let's plug in capture card. Good to go. Okay. So I'll switch over to the capture card. Ta-da! And we'll fire it up. My little red button here. Away we go. While this boots up, let's read chat. Oh wow, chat has been active. Chat has been active. Trina says, every time you mention Starfield, I keep thinking of the Windows screensaver from back in the day. And David Starbuck, welcome to the stream. David says, playing Star Rim, I see. Yes, exactly. It's Test 6, The Elder Space. The Elder Space 6. Blake DMC says now, an upcoming game I want to melt every GPU known to man is Crysis 4, if it becomes a thing. I imagine it will. I can't imagine they wouldn't make another Crysis game. They're always popular. And yes, they should quite handily melt GPUs. It's kind of their meme at this point. Alright, this is not... Is this running in 1080p? Did you switch me to 1440p? No, you didn't. Okay. Alrighty. Changed graphics card driver, so I'm going to relaunch Afterburner. Yes, really. Okay, so we've got... Let's take a look at what we've got real quick here. This is too small. Oh well. GPU-Z. Let's see if I can make this bigger. Just temporarily. Oh, she's messing with stream. Okay, so we've got Quadro P2000. That is, yep, I was right. 1024 unified shaders. That's it. 1,000 Pascal shaders. What is our TMUs and ROPs? We've got 40 ROPs, so 40 render outputs, and 64 texture mapping units, which, like the Radeon Pro WX 5100, is a little high for something that's slot power only, surprisingly. But yeah, 160-bit bus width. Like, you wouldn't expect that much memory bandwidth on something this low end. But there's our 5 gigs of VRAM. So let's see what this thing can do. I gotta reset my screen scaling now that I screwed this all up. Oh no. There we go. That's mostly correct. It's fine. You guys don't need to see the right side of the screen. Give you a little more screen real estate there. Okay, so let's hop into Starfield. I'll show you how it runs on this. Again, I apologize for pre-testing it, but I wanted to make sure, like, as I was testing downwards and downwards on GPUs, I'm like, at some point it's going to tell me it can't run this game, right? Right? And it just kept not telling me, so... Oh, did it launch in a window behind? It does this sometimes. It is still a Bethesda game. Yeah, it launched in a window behind. So, we'll just relaunch it. Should work. Should work. Come on, Starfield. You can do this. Don't make me a liar. Pretty please? I bet it's still running. Nothing like Windows, right? Oh yeah, it hadn't quit. I restarted the game too quickly. It had not quit. Come on. There we go. That's more like it. Okay. See, I swear, it runs on this card. Like, it shouldn't run on this card, but it runs on this card. Alright, so first, oh god. That was very jank for a moment there. First of all, did it reset my display settings? It did not. We're going to see some pain. We are going to see some pain real quick here. Because we're going to try and use the 5600 XT's settings to run the game, which is not going to work. It's not going to work. But we'll see what it does anyway. It should be funny. So we'll load into the interior section again. And see what it does. How is chat doing over here? David Starbucks says, all these newfangled games. I remember when 640 by 40 at 30 FPS was high-end, and we were happy. Yeah, right, run it on a Voodoo 5. Yeah, here we go. So we're having fun. This is 26 FPS. It's cinematic. It's cinematic. Alright, but again, this is medium with no resolution scale. So let's just turn on some resolution scale and see what we can get out of it, right? So like, what if we do... So we're 1080p. This is the internal render resolution scale. So like, if we set it to half, that should be, right? Like that's 540p. 67% should be... Is my math off? Should that be 720p or is that 75%? Let's try 67%. So 2/3 size. And that gets us... Well, that gets us into 30s. So now we're in 30 FPS. 30 FPS land. And again, like it's not bad. Like it's not a terrible 30 FPS. The input lag is not bad. Let's go into the interior area so we can see what the rest of this looks like. See what I mean though? You cross a load screen boundary because now we're going into the interior cells. It's all the same engine. It's all the same engine. I'm shocked with what they've gotten this engine to do, honestly. So here we are, we're in 1080p medium, 2/3 render scale, 30 FPS. Looks great, right? Like the visuals are fantastic. Even with the render resolution scale, it's looking pretty good. We've got all of our effects from medium are turned on. No rendering glitches. It's looking good. So this was me like last night trying this Quadro P2000. I'm like, how is this running this well? How is this running this well? And you see, if you can see the GPU memory allocation right up here, the GPU memory allocation, we are allocating 3.5 gigs of VRAM. 3.5 gigs. I don't know what they did with this engine, but it's impressive. I think it's impressive anyway. So now we're loading in through the exterior cell into this interior area. We hit the door that goes to the outside. And what does the outside look like? We go from 30 FPS to 28. And now we're outside, it's 25. So now we're pushing it. Now we're pushing it. This is not playable. This is too slow. So let's turn down some settings. First, let's see what 50% res scale does, right? Settings, not load. So we turn the resolution scale all the way down to 50%. And what do we get? Not a great deal of increase. We're at 27 FPS. Still not good enough. So we go to, let's try the low preset. Reloads assets, and now we're into the 30s again. Little bit less consistent 30 FPS, mostly because I think it has to load some stuff. No, it's still like the graph's not great. It's a little more spiky than I'd like it to be, but like it still feels okay to play. So let's see what this combat ends up doing. So we're at 30 FPS in the scope, 31 FPS outside the scope. Let's see what this ends up turning into with this firefight. Ready? Go. Time to ruin some people's day. He's got multiple health bars because he's a jerk. Shoot him in the butt. There we go. Not bad. Playable. Perfectly playable. This is the reason I think these oh, it doesn't run at 60 FPS claims are a little overblown. Because like this game actually runs pretty decently at 30. I'm surprised at how decent it is at 30 FPS. The reason 30 FPS sucks so bad is that the frame time is usually bad, right? Like a 30 FPS PC game is usually a terrible frame time. The AI is really good in this game. They've definitely improved it. Hey, nope, you are supposed to die. Get back here. There we go. They run around, they find cover. They're not bad. The AI is not terrible in this game. You screwed with the wrong space lady. That's right. Did I get them all? Guess I did. Robot Companion does have some combat capabilities, so he probably took care of the rest of them. But yeah, that's, like, this is a workstation card running on slot power. It's from, like, what, 2016? Why is this running this well? It doesn't make any sense. This runs great. Alright, so let's put it in the city. I have not tested this. I have not seen what this does once you get into the city. I imagine it's going to be less of a fun time. So let's go forwards in time to the city and see how this does. Oh, I think, who asked? Was it HC? Did you ask? Is this worth the acquisition? Yes, 100%. Now, I'm biased. I am a Bethesda fangirl, but there's no reason that this satisfies all of my Bethesda urges. I really love it. And that looks like crap. Look at how soft that is. I don't know if you can see this on stream, but like this is not good. Frame time is fine. We're doing 30 FPS again, but this looks like a muddy, blurry mess. We're still under the VRAM limit on the card, though. 4.4 gigabytes of VRAM allocated? This is incredible to me. How is this... How the heck is this not allocating that much VRAM? Every other game out there could, you know, learn a thing or two from this. It's alright, though. It's alright. Like, frame time wise, it's fine. But yeah, it is muddy. It is muddy as heck. Okay, so that's like this is not terrible. This is very strange to me that this runs this well on a card that's this underpowered. So let's give it some challenges. What do you say? Let's do the Radeon Pro. I have no idea if this is gonna work. I have no clue whatsoever if this is gonna work. I'm excited to find out. This game. What have we got? HC says I prefer dumb AI. I'm annoyed when the AI is like too clever. You know, like they like clearly they're trying to like make it better than it really is. Oh, that's warm too. Oh, that's toasty. That is a toasty graphics card. Put that back in your home. Okay, so that is card number 2. Let's see what the Radeon Pro does, if this even works. I have no idea. Same idea, this is a bunch of display ports on the back, so use the same adapter. There we go. And that is in the slot. Fire it up. Space Lady is vast as space, that's right. I'm gonna come over and sit on your planet. Hello, Carrie. Honestly, find cover. I don't actually know what the crouch button is. I haven't figured it out yet. I haven't bothered. Mostly because I've been testing graphics cards in the game. Joe says, I am taking apart an Inspiron N series to harvest the SSD. Save me. Hopefully it's not that bad. I mean, Dell machines are usually pretty okay for, disassembly. It's just like, what is with that scaling? Windows what? Y'all see this? Look at this. What is with the scaling on this menu? What? Windows, what you doing? Go home, Windows, you're drunk. What is it? Did you set this to like 4K and 300% scaling again because you're a terrible operating system? No. 1080p 100%. What is your problem? This is 100%. This is going to screw up the rest of the game. I'm going to try and reboot this machine real quick so that the scaling actually sticks. Do a quick reboot here. What do we got? Clarjon 1 Plus says, as someone who's been very jaded with Bethesda, with how they've been handling recent releases, such as Fallout 76, Redfall, I'm really enjoying Starfield. It's not Starfall, Starfield. I'm kind of impressed, honestly. So I saw a post over on Mastodon. I don't know if it's actually real or whatnot, but someone said that they were talking with someone on Usenet, going by the name of Todd Howard, and this was back in like this is like 30 years ago. Talking with some random guy called Todd Howard, and he told this person, one of these days, I'm gonna make a space RPG. If this is like Todd Howard's pet project, it kind of makes sense that it's released in the state it is. Like it's a good game, capital G, good game. And I imagine it's that way because that's what Todd wants. We lost a video. Usually that just means I need to... Yep, there we go. I just need to reconnect the display port and everything is cool. Okay. Let's make sure we've got some weird hitches. Let's run GPU-Z. See what we've got. So this is, I'm trying to scale my OBS stuff with the mouse cursor inside the machine. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Okay, so here we've got Radeon Pro WX 5100. So this is 1792 unified shaders, and we have, instead of 40 ROPs, we've got 32, and instead of 64 texture mapping units, we've got 112. So we have less fill rate in this card, but more shading horsepower, potentially. Polaris shaders aren't quite as powerful as Pascal shaders, but still we've got 70% more shaders than that Pascal card, so maybe. And of course, this one's also weird because it's got 8 gigs of VRAM. So let's see what this can do in Starfield. This card is so strange. I don't recommend buying it for like a machine you actually need to use, but it is a weird and interesting card to have in a collection, and I'm happy I have it. Because it's just a strange configuration for Polaris. Like it doesn't line up with any other Polaris cards. It's not like an RX 570 or 470 or something. It's a weird card. Anyway, let's see if Starfield loads into the background again, or if it actually loads into the front. Anybody? Sometimes I've noticed that sometimes this can just sit and go to like 100% CPU usage and just sit, and it is loading. It just takes a while. The problem is if I load up like Task Manager to look at it, it's guaranteed to load in the background and then we won't be able to see it run. I don't think this is loading. But we didn't get an error message. Nope, there we go. There it is! Yep, so it did the thing again. It'll just sit there at like 100% CPU usage, doing I don't know what. But then it does finally load in. It's, I think someone had theorized that it was like compiling shaders, and like maybe it's compiling the shaders it needs for this part of the game, because this is where it builds shaders. It's on the main menu. Do I get a mouse cursor? Do I get blessed with the mouse cursor? I don't see it. Well, maybe we'll get a mouse cursor once it's done building shaders. Hooray! We get to watch it build shaders. Gut Bomb, hello! Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here. Hopefully I haven't missed anybody else join. I probably have. I've been bad about reading stream today. Or bad about reading chat today. Who else is here? Ah, HC said I bet it crashed. Carrie says it satisfies your Bethesda urges like Fallout 3, 4, and 76 never did. Kinda, yeah. Like you can see like where the influences of their Fallout, especially Fallout 4 and Fallout 76, fall in the game when you get into like other areas of the game. Like some of the like techno interiors, like you can definitely see some Fallout influence in there. But like it's real good. There seems to be a depth there that was lacking in Fallout 4. I am looking forward to like playing the heck out of this game once I rebuild this gaming PC that we're streaming on presently because it refuses to launch the game. Blake DMC says 4's broken, could learn from this game here. Yeah, for real. I don't know what Forspoken is doing, but they're doing the wrong thing. That just runs badly on everything. HC asks, does the game have a dog or cat petting option? That is a good question. I'm not sure. Bear in mind, it is a Bethesda game, so someone could mod in a pettable dog or cat if it's not present currently in the game, but I don't actually know. Collarjon says, crouches control. Thank you. I will probably forget that. Crouch. David Starbucks says, crouch button is Alt F4. Thank you. It'll definitely avoid me from getting shot by the enemies. Joe says he is doing a complete disassembly on that Inspiron. Removal of all internal guts. Yikes. Yikes. I don't know what's worse, Starfield or Forspoken. Forspoken, definitely. Like even once you get Forspoken running like well, from what I've seen on the reviews, like the frame times are still bad in Forspoken. At least in this game, like the frame times are pretty consistent. I don't know what they're doing with this engine, but they've nailed the frame times. Okay, so Radeon Pro WX 5100. What are we? GPU 0%? That's not correct. MSI Afterburner is having a moment. Let's load into here. So we're running on the same settings that the P2000 had. So it's low preset. I think it's just low preset. So let's see what it does. That netted us like mid-30s interior? Mid-high 30s? Yes, cats. Carrie says, yes, cats. Cats, definitely. Cats are good. So this is pretty similar, which makes sense. I mean, we're again limited by slot power. Polaris isn't quite as powerful. It's not quite as power efficient as Pascal is, so we're a little under. We're at like 30 FPS even. So if we go into the interior area, do we get into the mid-30s with Polaris? Limited to slot power. We do, and that frame time graph does not look as smooth as that Quadro P2000. Oh, I got stuck on a collider. It's surprising because, like, the frame time graph says that this should be stuttery, but I'm not feeling the stutters. Maybe it's just because the frame rate is too low for me to feel them, and the stutters are just they're too brief. It doesn't feel as stuttery as the frame time graph suggests it does. Again, it feels pretty okay. And yeah, performance is very slightly less than the Quadro P2000. We're at like 33-ish FPS. I think the Quadro is doing 35. So let's hop outside and see what this does. Because out there we were seeing a minimum of like, what, like 28? See what it does. Okay, so we're at 29, 30 FPS. Thank you, Vasco. Please get out of my way. 29-ish FPS. So I open the door and 27 FPS. So we are definitely 25. Yeah, so we're definitely doing worse than the Quadro. That makes sense. That makes sense. So if we go into display, we have nothing left, don't we? We have nothing left with which to fiddle with speed. Well, we can turn on static res scale. So we turn off some of the shading horsepower that's needed for FSR. Beyond like turning off some options. We'll see how we get with instead of doing FSR, we'll just do, oh, that's so bad. Oh, that looks terrible. That looks so bad. FSR is doing some heavy lifting there, apparently. So with static, you know, CAS, static render scale, 50%, it's looking pretty bad. That's looking pretty bad. Oof. Oof, oof. It might be time to go down in resolution. We might need to go down to 720p. Oh, right, it's borderless. Right. Oh, yeah, let's turn off borderless. Oh, we get a window. Right, if we want to change the resolution, we need to change the resolution of the desktop. Which is annoying, but doable. So let's try 900p. 1600 by 900. See what that does. Random Gaming in HD's favorite resolution for low-end machines. So 900p, relaunch Starfield. Dave's Vintage Apple Tech. Hello, Dave. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. He says, sorry I'm late. Working on the BMW. Excuse me. So you said that's a 320i? What year is that? I always kind of wanted to have like a 320 or a 525e. I always thought those were interesting. Excuse me. Okay, so we're at 900p. We should still be in low settings. We've got CAS turned on. Let me turn CAS off real quick. So we'll go back to FSR2. Let's make that the low preset. There we go. Low preset. FSR2, minimum res scale, 900p. So let's load it back into that outdoor section. Load. There we go. Interesting. Gutbomb says the Steam version performed worse for me than the Game Pass version on the same settings. That's interesting. That is interesting. Okay, so 900p with FSR2 still on. We are immediately, we've got a 10% boost, 10, 11, 12% boost of frame rate. So we're at 34 on the interior. So if we go outside, does that drop us below 30? No. Kinda. Okay, so now we're at 29, 28, 29. It's not great. It's not great. I think we're gonna do 720p. Let's do the 720p. Oh, yikes. I'm surprised it runs at all, honestly. I'm surprised it runs at all. So, 720p, 1280 by 720. We'll relaunch Starfield as our windows get larger and larger. Garth, come on, be nice. Garth says, no excuses, Dave. That's 3 demerits. Oh, nice. A 1978 320i. That's awesome. Oh, see ya, HC. Sorry I missed you. Sorry I missed you leave. Have a good one. You can always catch the VOD later. We'll see what we get up to. I have some real stinkers back here to run this game on. This is my lowest? Yeah. I've got a Quadro P600. It's not going to focus on it, is it? Meh. Let's do that. Will you focus? Yeah. Quadro P600. We're going to try that one next. It's going to be awful. I can't imagine it's going to run on the WX 2100 because it's only got 2 gigs of VRAM. But I bet it'll run on the WX 4100. I think I'll try that next. It's going to run like garbage. It's going to run like garbage on that card. Okay, so we are display 720p, minimum res scale, FSR2 on. Yikes. Alright, load in to the outdoor section. Again, I'm amazed it runs on these garbage low-end cards. Zodium says, I was watching some other benchmarks and apparently my card, a 2060 Super, didn't do so hot. Ah, it sucks. I imagine it would do pretty okay. Because it's going to be faster, so 2060 Super, I think, outperforms the 3050. I think? Hey, look at that, we're up to 37 FPS at 720p with FSR on. Yikes, that looks... Okay, it's a little blurry, actually. It looks pretty good. Let's see how outdoors looks. That is some... I don't know if you can see that over the stream compression, but that is some awful-looking render artifacts from FSR. What would our render resolution be? Like, we're 360p. Our internal render resolution at this point is 360p. We're at 30 FPS. We're at 30 FPS. So we're now at 720p, we're at what the Quadro P2000 could do at 1080p, which is kind of sad. Anyway, let's blast this guy and see how this works. Ruin your day, sir. Again, repeatedly ruin your day. Oh yeah? You're gonna use some cover, huh? Come here. Come here. Just jump off. Get back here. Don't run from me. See what I mean? Like, the AI is pretty good. Runs away when they're injured. Not that good, though. AI ain't that smart. Anyway, I'm a ways away from where I need to be. But that doesn't really matter. Yeah, so 28 FPS. I guess if you really need to work it, to play this game on a 2016 era workstation card, it does actually work. It's not a great experience. Again, though, like, this is a lot smoother than even that frame time graph, suggests. Oh, come back here. I'm trying to play this through the capture card. My reaction time's not great. Get back here. That's right. Gotcha. Anybody left? I think we got them all. Let's see how it does now. I didn't get all of them. There's one left. Get that. Screw off. There we go. So let's run into the town real quick. See how that goes. Very quickly. On the WX 5100. Zodium says, this is indeed shockingly playable. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Like, this is Creation Engine. It's Creation Engine 2. You know, it's the same engine that Bethesda's been dragging forwards in time since, like, I think, Elder Scrolls Redguard, I think, was when they first used NetImmerse. Like, it's, you know, it was NetImmerse, and then it was Gamebryo, and then it was Creation Engine. Like, it's the same engine they've been pulling forwards in time. I'm impressed with what they've done with it. I'm impressed. That looks like complete ass. That looks like complete garbage. We're getting a decent frame rate, but geez, that is like all render artifacts and nothing else. That is terrible. But we are so far below the minimum spec at this point, it's kind of hilarious. So, let's go even lower. Let's go even lower. Turn this machine off and pop that video card out. I'll flip us over to the desktop so y'all can see it. There we go. Cool. I need to figure out how to get my cameras to like behave when I switch scenes so I don't have to go to my intermediary scene and then back. I think I missed a setting somewhere in OBS, but I don't remember at this point. Anyway, WX5100. Oh, she's warm. She's real warm. When the warmth gets into your DisplayPort cable, that's when you know your graphics card's a little hot. A little bit toasty. So let's do the Quadro P600. Right? So this is trying to remember how many shaders it's on this. It's not a lot. I think this is equivalent to a GT 1030. Where the Quadro P2000 was around about like a 1050, this is about a 1030, I think. So, and then I've got, oh no, maybe this is the 1030. This is the P1000. I think this might be around the performance level of the 1030, which means this one is about equivalent to a 1010, a GeForce GT 1010. Time to punish. Time to punish this game. It does, I believe, still have 4 gigs of VRAM. And I know the game will run on 4 gigs because I tried it on my RX 480 last night, and that only has 4 gigs of VRAM. So, let's see if I can burn myself getting this card out of here. It's very warm. Very warm. Can I get the right thing? There we go. That's hot. So warm. So warm. We're going to put the stand for this. There it is. Ha. Ha, ta, 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 ta. It's a cheeky design. I kind of like it. Like it's got two little heat pipes hidden in there. It needs them. It needs them. I think that one is still 16 nanometer. Maybe it's 14 nanometer. I don't know. None of these are particularly advanced graphics cards. So, Quadro P600 going in. Click. This one is mini display ports. This is like 4 mini display ports on it. I gotta find my mini DisplayPort to DisplayPort adapter. We're gonna chain the dongles. It gets this one. Yes. Mini DisplayPort to full-size DisplayPort. And then we'll take full-size DisplayPort to HDMI for the capture card. This will be great. This won't be jank at all, I swear. Oh my god. The adapter is so long. Alright, get in there. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. Let's flip over to the capture card. The nice part is that all these cards use the same driver, so I don't have to keep constantly reinstalling the drivers. Okay, fire this thing up. Trina says, I love how positive you stay when things look like garbage. You know, just say something nice if you can't say anything at all. I mean, my issue with testing hardware, right? And like, I know Iceberg Tech has talked about this in his video where he, like, one of his subscriber specials. He like, I don't really have a relationship with the hardware I have. I just buy it, test it, and then resell it. And they're like, I have the opposite problem. I get really emotionally attached to, like, terrible PC hardware. I don't know why, but I really like the weirder it is, the more I like it. So I have a real difficult time, like, saying, like, definitely don't get this, it's garbage. Unless the product is, like, just completely unusable. Intel Arc. Generally I won't, like, super neg on a product. If it's just, like, if its only sin is that it's weird, I don't mind. I'm weird too, so I understand. Okay, so we got graphics drivers went in. For a moment, it turned to 300% render scale, so I'm going to reboot the machine again. Because that kind of Windows jank will ruin your playthrough. Zodium says, I think I'm still going to make an attempt to get a 30 series card from a friend. Nice. Hopefully. But this is reassuring if I end up stuck with the 2060 super short term. Yeah, honestly, it's not that bad. The thing is, like, modern PC gaming is, like, addicted to moving all the sliders to the right, right? Like, everybody wants to turn, I guess for you guys it'd be to the right. Like, everybody wants to, like, max everything out, and if you can't, it's too easy to declare it as, unusable, unplayable, blah blah blah. Honestly, like, this game looks like garbage at low settings, but a lot of cards can run it at medium. Medium looks pretty good, and a lot of cards will run it on medium. Like, I would say, like, avoid the low settings on this game because they don't look great. A lot of this game is like you're exploring a new area and you want to see, like, what does this planet look like? What does this area look like? You want to see the visuals, right? But, you want to see the visuals. But if you're running in low settings, like, you're going to see a blurry mess, mostly. However, like I said, medium settings are... I'm sorry, I'm distracted by something that popped up on my stream's current bitrate is below the recommended bitrate. It's below that because there's nothing happening, YouTube. It's because we're looking at a blank screen. It's fine. It's fine, YouTube, it's fine. Anyway, like, the medium settings in the game look pretty good. And, like, if you want to, like, extract a little more image quality out of the game, honestly, turn up the render resolution scale. Because that seems to be, like, the thing that makes or breaks image quality in this game. Once you're at medium settings, things look okay. Turn up the render settings, the render resolution setting, and you can get a game that looks pretty good and runs pretty decently on a pretty wide variety of hardware. That being said, let's try the Quadro P600, because this is going to be bad, I'm pretty sure. We'll get a GPU-Z on this first and see what we're dealing with. I don't remember exactly how many shader units it has. The P2000, if you remember, was 1024 shaders. And this one is 384. A third. It has a third. It has a third of the rendering horsepower of the P2000. This is gonna be bad. Oh, and this one only has 2 gigs of RAM. I thought this had 4. Okay, so this only has 2. Let's see if it even launches. Let's see if it even launches. 384 shaders. Yikes. Yikes. And like you see, okay, this is a pet peeve of mine, like with modern graphics cards, they're all like PCI Express X, 8 lanes, X8 or X4 with the 6400, the RX 6400. These older cards, we've got a full 16 PCI Express lanes for a total of 16 render output pipelines, right? Like, you used to be able to do this, NVIDIA. You used to be able to do this. Why does the 4060 have 8 PCI Express lanes? And AMD, why does the RX 6400 have 4? You used to be able to do this. Stop screwing with our cards. It's because everything is made for AI and deep learning and stuff these days, machine learning and garbage like that. Nobody makes gaming graphics cards anymore. They're all compute graphics cards. It's sad. It is sad. Oh, see? Just like how I'm really weird hardware. You're my favorite weird hardware. Ah. Oh, who do we got here? Read my chat. Solaris. Hello, welcome to the stream. On the topic of what you were saying, I loved the video about your Cyrix processor. I should do more. Yeah, like I said, I should do more retro hardware. I do want to say something cool. I finally got my hands on a SuperSocket 7 motherboard that works. A functional SuperSocket 7 motherboard with an AGP slot. So yes, retro content is going to come back, and I think I'm going to start with SuperSocket 7. I miss it. I miss SuperSocket 7 so much. We're going to run some Pentiums and some Voodoos, and we're going to have a good time. We're going to run some not Pentiums, some extremely not Pentiums, and some Voodoo cards, maybe some not Voodoo cards, and have a good time. Oh. I don't know if so I have my fastest AGP card that's native AGP is a GeForce 6800 GS. I don't remember. I think it's AGP 8X only. I don't think I can run it on the SuperSocket 7, just like to be ridiculous. Let me double check. I think it's over here. Is it over here? It's not over here. One sec, I'll go find it. There we go. Remember how I said I have this thing about hardware where I get like emotionally attached to it? This is one of those things that I've become emotionally attached to, and I don't know why. This is a 6800 GS. So when NVIDIA made this card, they made, the top spec die for the 6800 GT. And then instead of counting to 7 and making a 6700, as you would expect them to do nowadays, they called this the 6800 GS instead of GT. And it is basically a GT with one of its shader groups disabled. Oh, and boo, it is an AGP 8X only card. You can see with this notch in the slot means it is only fitting in the low voltage AGP card, or AGP slots. It's not that it's AGP 8X only, it's that it's low voltage AGP. So it won't work on that Super Socket 7 board. If you plugged it in, it would blow up. So don't do that. That's what the slot, the little notch in the slot is for, so you can't plug it in. Okay, so we are launched into Starfield with the P600. This feels wrong. This feels very wrong. Okay, let's go to the outdoor area, see what it does. How is this working? How is this functioning? I do not understand. Trina says this is going to be an interesting cluster. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. David Starbucks says, I have a 49-inch ultra widescreen monitor. I need all the GPU I can get. Yeah, that's fair. The biggest driver for me upgrading my GPU, honestly, was upgrading my monitor to a 4K monitor. If I was still on 1440p, I don't think I'd need the 3080, honestly. 26 FPS. 26 FPS. How is this even working? What? Okay, let's go outside. How low do we go? 22, 21, 20. Okay, that's pretty bad. Alright, so I don't want to trigger this scene. So we're at 19. 19 FPS. I think we're still running FSR, so we can drop that for a little more performance and just use static render scale. It's gonna look like big time butt. With that turned off. So there's cast. So that's our fixed resolution scale of 50% on 720p. So that's 360p. No upscaling tech. We'll let everything load back in here, which is going to be slow. Are you going to load back in, or are you going to be slow again forever? Because now we're at 8. We went from 19 to 8. Why? Why did we go from 19 to 8? Hmm, 20 watts on the GPU. I think we might be throttling the GPU. It doesn't feel super warm. I wonder if we're not running enough fan on this GPU. Let's see if we can get the afterburner open and get some fan control in here. There's a hidden dot in there. What are you doing? Come on. Over there. There we go. Okay. Only 52 Celsius, so we're not, like, super hot. No, we're still down to 8 FPS. How is that possible? How is FSR making us go faster than just having low render scale? Was that a fluke? Was that a fluke? Let's go to low preset. That turns FSR back on. That was a fluke. The high FPS was a fluke. I wonder if it's doing... Oh shoot, I wonder if it does automatic detection and doesn't tell you. That's interesting. Because if you remember, like, the old NVIDIA, or the old NVIDIA games, the old Bethesda games would, like, do some rudimentary detection on your graphics card and then set a preset. right? And it would set a bunch of settings on your graphics settings. I wonder if this is doing that on first launch on a new GPU. If you get invisible custom settings. Because y'all saw that. Like, we were getting 19 FPS outside, and now we're getting 7. That's so weird. That's so weird. I don't know how I'd... I'm trying to think of how I would, like, force it to do that. Except, you know, other than, like, changing the graphics card again. That's weird. That's so weird. Okay, well, we're at an hour and a half into the stream, so let's shift gears. Let's run the FX system and see if it'll play on FX. This is incredible. Just how low this thing will go. That's native 720p, by the way. 5 FPS on a Quadro P600. I think that is a GT 1010. 384 Pascal shaders, I think that's a GT 1010. It's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Alright, so let's turn this off. We're going to have to do a Windows install. I apologize, I did not get this installed ahead of time. Shut down. Where's my USB? Oh no, oh there it is. I put it somewhere special so I wouldn't lose it, which means I lost it. Okay, so let's get this thing out of here real quick. Where did I put my screwdriver? Let's start with removing the graphics card. That was so weird. I'm gonna have to do some more investigation on that, honestly, because I'm not sure what was going on there. Let me switch y'all over so you can see the desk. This will be a little bit. Okay. So we're gonna swap this Ryzen, get my finger in the right place, there we go. Helps having a camera there. So we're gonna switch this, this Ryzen 5 1600 non-X for an FX 6300. I think I've got 16 gigs in there. Pretty sure. I don't think this game runs super well with less than 16 gigs of RAM. I think it really needs the RAM. But I'm sure with all the RAM that I have sitting around the apartment, I'm positive I have 16 gigs of DDR3 somewhere. Get you out of here. Oh, come on. This ATX connector is the worst. There we go. Okay. I'll need my power button. I suppose I just reuse the... Let's try just booting off this SSD and see what happens. Let's see how bad it is. We just, like, pull the rug out from under Windows and just boot it on a different architecture. It's all about torturing computers today. Let's see, I'm going to start with probably something a little faster. You know what? RX 6400 we haven't tried yet. Let's see how that goes. Okay, so USB, that is for the VR headset, and USB for the keyboard and mouse. Let's get this motherboard out of here. Try to make this quick. Y'all didn't come here to see me swap motherboards. Grab these screws. I've come for your screws. Give me your screws. Okay. That's that. Plop, don't step on that. Motherboard on the floor, don't step on it. Alright. FX AM3 Plus. The plus means it's good, right? Oh god. What if we get an AM5 Plus? What if AMD releases an AM5 Plus? I would scream. The Plus versions of their chipsets were so bad. Not like bad, but like confusing. Like what if you get a processor, like what board do you need to put it in? Does it go in an AM2 board? Does it go in an AM2 Plus board? Can it work in an AM3 board? Some of them could. Right? Like what the whole Plus thing with AMD chipsets in what I call the Malaise era of AMD. It was just not great. Hopefully they don't bring that back. They so far have been wise to not bring back FX as a processor designation, thankfully. Because originally FX meant, you know, those were the high-end overclockable processors, right? Like in the Athlon 64 FX. Where's that screw? Is there a screw on this one? Oh, there it is. Next to the RAM slots, that's where it is. Y'all can see it, I can't see it. Use my camera. Goes in there. There we go. And we're going to start with the RX. RX 6400. This should be terrible. Whoa. There we go. And we'll plug this SSD straight in as if nothing changed. Oh, let's get network plugged in. It's gonna have a field day getting drivers for this thing. Get our keyboard and mouse plugged in. We're gonna need that other SSD. There it is. Because this, now we don't have the M.2, right? Because the M.2 is on the motherboard of the other system, on the other system's motherboard. So this, beforehand, I copied Starfield onto this. So we've got a copy of Starfield. So I'm gonna use that in a second. We'll save that. It's a secret tool that'll help us later. Okay, so where's the latch on that? It's over there. Plug in there nicely. Nope, you need the other one. There we go. Okay. Power. ATX. There we go. That one did nicely. Way better than usual. Okay. I think that's everything. Turn power supply back on. Or did I just turn it off? Oh, power supply was on the whole time. Nice. Hopefully I didn't fry either of these words. Oh, power button. That's what I'm missing. Gotta have the power button. There we go. Oh, I didn't plug in the capture card. That's what I was missing. Helps if I plug in the capture card. Where does that go? On this one, it goes in the top connector. Scooch this around a little. Come on, get in there. Get in there. Hello. Welcome to Amber's weekly rant about HDMI and how much she dislikes it as a connector. Oh, it's working. It's working. And yes, please subscribe for additional shenanigans. I'm amazed. That just booted. That just booted on FX 6300. So in here, yep, there you go. FX 6300. Look at that. So we are at essentially about half of the performance per clock than we were at. About half the performance per core that we were on that Ryzen 1600. So this should be great. I would not expect 60 FPS out of this thing, but you know, we're also running a 6400, so I wouldn't expect 60 FPS anyway. This is probably installing some drivers. I imagine it's having a bad time. Let's see what chat is doing. Hello, chat. David Starbucks says it'll work just fine. You're right. It worked just fine. Windows 11 install on an SSD that's been connected to like 10 different motherboards always works. Windows has gotten a lot better about it. Since Windows 8, it's gotten a lot better about just being able to be moved from hardware to hardware and just figure its stuff out. It's so funny you would say that, Ryzen 9. Ryzen 9 3900 XT says Ryzen 3000 XT is nice. So weird you would say that. At least you're using a 970 chipset board, says David Starbuck. Yes, yes. Well, I actually bought this board new, not that long ago. Maybe 2 years ago? You'd still find it, new for $60. You know, it's not anything particularly special. We've got a heatsink on the primary VRMs, which is good, because, you know, AMD FX. But otherwise, it's just kind of a basic, you know, AM3 Plus motherboard. There were some wild designs in AM2 and AM2 Plus era, but then, motherboards for AM3 and AM3 Plus, as AMD fell into the, you know, they fell into the melees, motherboards got a little bad for a while there. Nobody wanted to put the money into an AMD motherboard for a long time. So, we're still... What are we doing? Windows, what are you doing? Steam. Steam is running something. What is Steam running? What is your problem? Steam, what is your problem? It's not doing downloads. I think it's just because it's running on FX. I think that's Steam's problem. It's running on a slow processor. Oof. Okay, so here's the trick. We're gonna do... I want to get... I guess it doesn't matter what drive letter it assigns. But we're gonna take our SSD, plug it into one of the USB 3 ports, see if it gets recognized. It should. I think there are drivers for this chipset natively in Windows 10, even as far back as... Yep, there we go. Games! It even knows it as the G drive. Nice. So if I go in here to Steam, Settings, Storage, yep, it recognizes it, and it sees that Starfield is installed. Bingo! Bingo, bingo, bingo. So let's run Starfield. Oh, that's so wrong. That's so wrong that that works. I love it. There we go, there's that 100% CPU usage that Starfield will do once in a while. I imagine it's kind of panicking at the moment saying, what the heck am I running on? But so far, no error message. Y'all, is it gonna run? Is it gonna run on the FX? No way. No way. I need like a soundboard clip of like girl from Ipanema so that we can from Ipanema, the girl from Ipanema, so we can listen to that while we wait for the FX processor to do stuff. Dun, 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 dun. For most of my life, I read that phrase, the girl from Ipanema, right? But it's like I Panama. That's not how that's pronounced. It's not I Panama. It's like the iMac. It's I Panama. No, it's Ipanema. Oh, I didn't check how much RAM is in this thing. Is this actually 16 gigs? It is. Okay. Hopefully this will work. It loaded! It's running on FX! What? What the heck? What? Oh, this is so bad. Oh, God, building shaders is gonna take so long. Oh, no. I can't believe this works. Oh. Everything's broken, Garage says, and copyright strike. Probably. Also, welcome. Welcome back to the stream. Again, you're joining, now you really are joining a computer crime currently in progress as we try and run Starfield on an FX 6300. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, I missed it. Y'all had a big argument about hot sauce in here, huh? Arguing about hot sauce. Oh, Pickle. Pickle's here. Hello. Welcome, Pickle. Sorry, I've been very bad about keeping up with the chat today. Blake DMC. Maybe it would work better on Windows XP. Oh. Hot sauce. How did we get on hot sauce? I missed it. How did we get on hot sauce? Oh, see? YouTube's doing the thing again. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Great. Thanks. I mean, oh, you know what I bet it is? I bet it's this machine, like, trying to do, like, Windows updates or something stupid. Because I have, no upload bandwidth. I have, no upload bandwidth. That's the bad part. But we're under it. We're under it. OBS is saying we're at 3.6K, or 3.6 megabit. If my internet can survive. Blake, excuse me, Blake DMC says, FX 6300 is actually a 3-core processor, yes. I also subscribe to that thinking, which is apparently the legally correct distinction, since I think AMD was sued over their 8-core processors not actually being 8 cores. They're legally recognized as not 8-core processors. Oh. Of course, the important thing, right? The important thing for a game is how many floating point units do you have. And of course for FX, it's 1 floating point unit per module, so per 2 cores, right? 2 cores share a floating point unit. So for gaming, honestly, yeah, it's this 6-core processor is a 3-core processor, because mostly what you're going to be doing is floating point math. So yeah, no, I concur. And it's not like these are high performance cores either. Ah, it's a video I've been meaning to do. The whole reason that I got this FX 6300 is that before I got it, I managed to track down an Athlon 2 X6, not Athlon 2, Phenom 2 X6, 1090T, right? So that's one of the higher end 6-core Phenoms, right? But that was AM3, not non-plus, before FX came out. And the legend is that when the FX 6100 came out, very early in the FX life cycle, it was actually slower than the 6-core Phenoms. And I want to test that, because that sounds juicy. I don't doubt it. I bet. Given the architecture that FX is based on, like it's a long pipeline, and you have the shared modules and stuff. I wouldn't doubt it. I would bet that K10 is actually faster than FX. All right, so we're running Starfield on an FX 6300. So let's load. Oh, so first of all, we are still running the same settings we were running before on the Quadro P600. So not great. I give the RX 6400 a bunch of gaff, but it's not a Quadro P600, that's for sure. We should be able to turn our settings up. Hopefully. Hopefully. Gareth Beagle says, when YouTube puts up that message, it's prompting you to dance around. Of course. Monkey must entertain. Monkey must entertain. Apparently it wasn't a problem. David Starbucks says it's 5x5 here. So, I don't know. Trina, jump up and get down. Very nice. The Sodium says, still better off than my Comcast connection, which is funny, because I'm also on Comcast. So, Comcast friends. Alright, so this is looking shockingly competent. Let's turn up some settings, maybe. Get a little bit more performance out of RX 6400, huh? So, settings, display. We're in 720p. So let's go low preset, turns FSR2 back on. We're still at 50% render resolution scale. That gives us... Wait for the indirect lighting to rebake. Come on, you can do it. There we go. 46, 44 FPS. Let's open the door and see what we get. $43 FPS. Walk outside. 43 FPS. Look at that CPU usage. 65, 75, 80%? Dang! That is, I think this game uses, like, 3 threads, y'all. Maybe 4. That would be, like, right, 75% of a 6-core would be, like, 4 threads. We have 6-core, 6-thread. Well, 3-core, 6-thread. Be like, what, 4 active threads in this engine? That's kind of funny. Alright, let's ruin this guy's day and see how the frame rate does. Ready? That's right. Bye-bye. We dipped down to 30, but we're right back up to 40 again. We are well within the RX 6400's VRAM limit. Like, we're at 3.5 gigs. Reload the gun. Yeah, got you. Honestly, it seems fine. Again, we've got a really... I'll let Vasco take care of those. But we've got a really pretty stable frame time graph, which is bizarre. Let's go into the city and see how bad the FX does in the city. I'm very curious now. So we go over here into the city. I can't believe this is running on an FX 6300. Trina says, I think your CPU cooler's on fire because it's red. Blake DMC says, I'm also on Comcast. I'm so sorry. They're so bad. They are so bad. David Starbucks says, my FX 8350 and my Phenom 2 4-core are within 5% of each other, at least in MPEG-4 encoding, which is... that's saying something. That is saying something. Blake DMC says, Phenom X6 1090T is on my editing rig, paired with a secondhand 560 Ti. It was once my gaming rig. Nice. Nice. So, we are in town. Frame rate is suffering. Our CPU is at 96%! I guess that seals it. It does use 6 threads at least. But, geez, 100% CPU usage. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. Okay, so, I know there's an area over here. Hang on. We've only been testing in this area for now, but there's an area that's even worse on the CPU. I guarantee it. So that's 23 FPS over there. If we hop on the tram, we go to here. This is where I saw the worst frame rates by far. Not in like the normal area that you're in for most of the game, but like there's this ramp section. You'll see it comes right out of the transit station. It's full of people. They're all like doing their dynamic AI thing, so they're running collision detection and trying to like avoid bumping into each other. And that's where I saw 28 FPS on the Ryzen 5. So I can only imagine what we're about to see here. There aren't enough people. There were far more people last time. Although we're down to 19 FPS. It's looking pretty bad already. But yeah, this ramp full of people. Oh, here we go. 16 FPS. But this ramp full of people there's 15, is like the worst part of this game. So there we go. We've got some AIs walking into the ramp now. 14 FPS. I should have kept that save. I had a save that was like, I was over there in another area of the game, and I walked down here and this ramp was just chock full of people. And it just chugged so bad. 19, 18, 19. We saw 16, I think, was our lowest that we saw. Which is pretty bad. Pretty bad. And this is far and away. This is CPU bottlenecking. We're at 85% CPU usage, 60% GPU usage. 20 FPS. Again? I'm shocked that it runs. I'm shocked that it runs. So you know what we have to do now. We're on the 6400, right? We gotta confirm. We gotta confirm that this is a CPU bottleneck, right? So of course, you know what we have to do. We have to plug a faster graphics card into this thing and see, does the frame rate improve? Which it shouldn't. If it's a CPU bottleneck, a faster GPU should not improve the frame rate. So we're looking down the ramp, 20 FPS. I think the last thing we'll do today is we'll load this FX CPU up with an RX 6650 XT and see if the frame rates improve. My guess is not at all, not in the slightest. not in the slightest. Let me flip you back over to the desktop. There we go. Wait for the signature off. There it is. And let me grab my 6650. That is, I can't believe it actually works. I can't believe it works. How? How does it actually run on a FX CPU? I don't understand. Alright. Oh, she's warm. Oh, wow, she's warm. So this whole thing is just radiating heat. Oh, yikes. Okay. Where's my stand for this? There it is. Grab the stand. Stick this back in its stand, not drop it. There we go. Stand. Ta-da. Okay. 6650 XT. This is the ASRock Challenger D edition. Challenger series, ASRock. Basically, I got this because this is the cheapest 66 whatever series card I could find at the time. Where's my PCI Express power? There it is. And originally I was going to do a video like testing 6650 XT versus my ARC A750. And then I couldn't get the freaking ARC card to do anything. I have never seen, get that in the slot there. I've never seen a graphics card so utterly useless as Intel Arc. Like even their integrated graphics are more compatible. Like what the heck? Where's my button? Where's my button? Sorry, bumped y'all. Button. There we go. I'm gonna move you over to the right a little bit because when I switch views, it's gonna crop off some of that. So there we go. Yeah. Now you can see a little bit more of the machine. Yes. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I'm over where I wanted to be. I wanted to be done by 6 o'clock. It is 6:08. That is okay. Because I think this will be hilarious. Nice! Trina says, just to put the bug in your ear, I'm thinking of taking over the Retro Repair Roundup stream again in October. That would be pretty cool. That was a good time. I enjoyed that. That was a good time. Blake DMC says, Comcast does okay in Houston, but my only option is to stay with Comcast, because AT&T is even worse. Or Windstream. Let me guess, Windstream is your, like, local/regional ISP who, like, is still offering ADSL in 2023? Oh, yeah, Google Fiber. Google Fiber would be nice. Any fiber would be nice. I love how Verizon, like, laid out a bunch of fiber and, like, it worked and they were making money and they're just like, nah, too much work. We're gonna stop doing it. Like, really? Come on, you guys. Garth says, you really can't blame Intel. They're just a plucky young upcoming firm that has a lot to learn. Yeah, they definitely, you know, haven't been doing this for a while. This thing called, you know, silicon fabrication. Okay, I think we've got our drivers installed. I'm gonna reboot brain. Reboot my brain, please. Reboot Afterburner. Oh, that's why. I'm like, why are the fans on this thing running like crazy? It's because Afterburner is still doing my custom fan profile. There we go. Just let the VBIOS handle it. It's fine. Okay, so if you need a refresher on 6650 XT, this is RDNA 2. We have 8 PCI Express lanes. We have 8 gigabytes of VRAM. I think we are 2304 shaders. No, 2048 shaders. So 64 ROPS, 128 TMUs, and we hit a maximum boost clock of about 2.7 gigahertz. This little card is a pretty great deal if you're looking for like a $200-ish graphics card, and you don't need to use like NVIDIA features like NVENC and CUDA. It's a pretty good option, honestly. I have been pretty happy with it as far as like, I need a powerful graphics card, TN, for the most part. My 3D Vcache video, I tried to use this as my GPU, and like I had to turn some settings way down to not have a GPU bottleneck. But you know, that's my own fault. I don't have a 6800, nor do I really want one. Do we compile shaders? We don't, because we are on RDNA 2, and we were just using RDNA 2, so we're going to do, I'm not going to change any settings. We're going to load right back into the same save and see how bad the frame rates are. So we get on the tram, right? Get on the tram, walk up the ramp. We should see 20 FPS. That's what we were seeing on the 6400. So let's see if that is the case. I swear it's loading. I swear. Yeah, no, it's loading the game. It's just taking a little bit because it's an FX processor. There we go. Oh no, Blake says AT&T switched to fiber and it's still as terrible as they've always been. That's not great. Like, there's one thing to like have competition in an area for an ISP, like, but if your competition's terrible, you don't actually have competition, you know? This is true for everything. Garth, I missed that. Thank you. Garth brings out the purple infinity signs for Xfinity. Thank you. Yes, I have Comcast's garbage Xfinity Wi-Fi service, their internet. They literally, they call it, like, if you want to manage your router cable modem combo, you have to go into the Wi-Fi settings. Because that's what it's the Wi-Fi. This is the Wi-Fi. It's not internet. It's not a router. It's not what it's properly named. It's what everyone calls it. It's the Wi-Fi. Alright, so let's go to this district. Because I know for sure we should be able to get the same frame rate, I betcha. We've just, like, quadrupled our GPU power, if that, quintupled our graphics power. We went from 768 shaders to 2048. And our clocks went up, and our power limit went up, way up. We've got at least, I think, about 4 times the graphics horsepower in this machine now. Will it matter? Trina says, y'all need to move to Canada for better internet. I wish. I wish the immigration form allowed you to select, what's your reason for moving to Canada, and see the internet's bad. I'm persecuted by my internet. 18? Yeah, no, we're seeing no frame rate improvement. That is a CPU bottleneck. 100% CPU usage. 100%. Not 99%. 100% CPU usage. Oof. Ouch, ouch, ouch. You can see the VRAM graph was lying to us with the RX 6400 installed. We're now seeing 5.5 gigs allocated. So, did that like just, did I miss that, or did that just like fade in a bunch of geometry that wasn't there before? I don't think I was making that up. I know it changes like the lighting model when you get into here. Yes, so the lights change when you walk outside. All the lighting changes and you get the dingy 18 FPS. There we go. I imagine it's having a very fun time streaming data with that like one core that's not being completely utilized by the rest of the game engine. God. 90%. Incredible. Incredible. I'm amazed it runs, honestly. I didn't think it would run. I'm not going to try it today, but part of me really wants to try this on that FM2 board that I did Baldur's Gate on, because I imagine that's going to be just as bad. It's the same architecture, it's just, you know, one fewer modules, so we get 2 fewer threads. I imagine that is going to be pain. So that'd be like 15 FPS here. Assuming this scales perfectly, and I don't know if it does. Woof. Ouchies. That is... yikes. Oh boy. Oh boy. Alright, I'm gonna turn this thing off. It is very warm. Okay, let's get back to the A-cam. Alright. So I think that's gonna wind it up for today, for the stream. That was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I cannot believe it ran on the P600. GT 1010, folks. Fire up Starfield on your GT 1010. It should work. Sadly. Incredibly. I'm also super surprised that it ran on the FX 6300. That's amazing. I really thought it would give us problems. And like I said, my machine here that you're looking at here, my 5800X3D with a 3080 12 gig, will not run this game. It launches and it gives me that error that says your graphics card does not meet the minimum specifications. Because I think I'm stuck on that old version of Windows 10. So, we've definitely clearly identified that as long as your Windows 10 version is up to date, you run this thing on pretty much anything. So, I want to thank everybody for coming to the stream. It's been a wonderful afternoon. Thank you so much for joining. And y'all are awesome. I just want to say, y'all are awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And coming up will be... I'd wanted to get it out, like, launching tomorrow, but I didn't quite get the time. I'm going to be taking a long look at the Ryzen 5 1600 in modern games, including a little bit of Starfield. With my next video, it's going to be basically the kicking off point of my cheap Ryzen video, which I'm hoping to launch in a couple of weeks, and that should be good. We'll see, like, what can you put together for a minimum amount of money on AM4, and what can it run, right? So, thanks to everybody who joined. God, can I say goodbye to everybody who's here? There's so many people here. Joe's Computer Museum, Blake DMC, Everything's Broken Garage, Garth Beagle, Trina's Techno Babble, who else is here? Dave's Vintage Apple Tech, Dave Starbuck, Sloopy Malibu, hello, goodbye. I don't think I said hello to you before. Walter Cordozo, hello, goodbye. I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you earlier. Who else we have? Pickle is here. I think OC already left, but welcome, thank you for coming. Pixel Pipes, Nathan arrived. I'm sorry I missed you because I was so concentrating on the game. But hello, goodbye, thank you for coming. It was awesome. I want to say thanks to everybody. Zodium, thank you for joining. Who else is here? Who else is here? Who else is here? I'm going to miss somebody. I'm going to feel terrible by missing somebody. Charlotte Thorne, thank you. Thank you for coming to the stream. Who else? Who else? Zalbrin, thank you for coming to the stream. Klarjan, thank you for coming to the stream. I know you two are also gone already because there's the thing that started 20 minutes ago. I know where you are. Ryzen 9 3900 XT, thanks for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. Who else? Solaris, thank you for joining the stream. It was good to see you. I just want to say hi and bye to everybody because y'all make these things work. If you didn't come to the streams, there'd be no point to them. So I'm glad that you're here. I appreciate it a ton, and I hope you all have been enjoying the channel content. I swear, I'm going to get back to vintage and retro tech. I swear. It's going to happen. Like I said, I've got that Super Socket 7 board now. I'm itching to try some vintage CPUs, some weird vintage CPUs on that board with some voodoo cards, because I think it'll be a good time. Anyway, thank you all so much for coming, and I will catch you in the next video, or stream, or something. Let's see if I can remember which one I have to click first. Okay. Have a good night.